What's up, everybody? I know you can't see me right now, so I figured maybe you could see the highway. Something to look at while I talk, but I don't know why I'm even talking about this right now, except that I kind of feel like I should, for some reason. But I've been doing a lot of mileage lately, been on the road a lot, and I apologize if it's a little noisy. I'm on the highway. So, a lot of people that have listened to my channel for a long time, some of the first videos I ever did on YouTube, I was super scared. I didn't want to talk about anything. I didn't want to really get into the stuff that I was seeing, but when Jackie and I came back from Texas, we were living in my ex's house and in the basement, taking care of the kids and whatnot, and I had to move back in with my parents after that. And during the time I was at my ex's house, it was very humbling to be in a person's home that like you had been at odds with for a long time. But God told me some basic things at first, and one of those things was that his name was Yahuwah, that the Hebrew Israelite movement was false, that people were starting to go back to the Hebrew roots movement type thing, but like there's freedom in Jesus, so we don't have to go back to that. You can go back to the books of the Old Testament, that's fine and that's good, and you can learn about the original stuff that happened that they took out of the Bible, but we're not supposed to be going back to the old laws and the food laws and all the Sabbath laws and all that stuff, because the Sabbath, the food laws, all those things are spiritual maxims that were taught to Moses, Abraham, David, all the people that were part of the original order of the ancients, which is like the order of Melchizedek. And you know, people argue about who Melchizedek is, and you can say whatever you want. I don't care. I know who it is or who I think it is, so whatever. So once I moved back in with my parents, the house burned down middle of January about 10 years ago, and I started having prophetic dreams. I don't like calling myself a watchman, but God made me that, and I don't know why, and I don't know what for, like, especially, like, why he chose me, because I'm not a good person, but, like, I just started having these dreams, and I told everybody I dreamt 3 times that Obama's the Antichrist. I don't care if you think Obama's the Antichrist or not. Doesn't matter to me. Like, I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I'm just telling you what happened to me, and maybe it might help you. And so one of the things that God showed me was that Obama was the Antichrist. He started showing me dreams about tsunamis coming and earthquakes, tidal waves like that were like 300 feet tall, like tsunamis like that were 300 feet tall. He even told me, you can go look this up. Go look up Portsmouth, New Hampshire, Strawberry Bank, and like that area, and look up the Portsmouth Bridge and how tall it is. It's 300 feet tall or something like that when they were making it. And God told me in my head, the still small voice, like I know this voice, and it's like the same voice that told me recently to quit smoking weed and cigarettes, because I'm not gonna be happy about it if I don't. And then I didn't listen, and it like my whole face swelled up, and I like had like a Jonah moment where I got swallowed by the whale. And I'm telling you, like, as much as that like happened to me like recently, I'm telling you that this stuff is coming. And I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm not trying to like do anything, except that if you're not prepared for what's coming, it's gonna hurt you. So one of the things that I had to do, or I did, because one of the things I did because Jesus like showed me all this stuff, is I started looking for other people that were dreaming the same things, because it says your old men and your young men or whatever will have dreams and visions in the end times. So I started looking for those people first, and this is before I found really I think it's before I found Zen, before I found Robert Farrell. All this stuff was happening to me. So then I started looking for people, and one of the people that I found was Jesus is Lord. And you can't, like, he just deleted all of his videos off of YouTube. I have no idea why. I don't know where they are. His channel's still there, and he has like 12,000 subscribers. He's from Australia. But one of the things that he said, and it's the reason that I have so many steel weapons and copper weapons, and weapons made out of teak wood, it's not teak wood, but it's called Rhodesian teak, and it's the gopher tree, which comes from Africa, where people have supposedly killed reptilians by stabbing them in the armpit, because reptilians' hearts are in their armpits. And you don't have to believe what I'm saying. I researched a lot about this. So the line of Cain is half seraphic serpent. They are reptile-like. They are not like Adam's race, which is what we are, and there is a war between us and them. What happened to Abel? Cain killed him and then drank his blood. That's what Adam and Eve dreamed in the first book of Adam and Eve, or like the Cave of Treasures. They dreamt that Cain was drinking his blood. And then what did Jesus say about all the blood that has been spilt from the righteous Abel to Zacharias, who is the father of John the Baptist or whatever? All of that is on the heads of the Jews that killed Christ. And that is why, is because this is the line of Cain. That's why Christ's genealogies could not come from him, and it came from the line of Judah, which is both Mary and Joseph came from the line of David, which is the line of Judah, which is the top right stone in the Levitical breastplate, which is an emerald color, and it varies in pictures that you might see, but this is why it says that Jesus is the chief cornerstone that the builders who are Nimrod in the line of Cain rejected, and that's who these people are. So anyways, when I found Jesus' Lord's channel, one of the things that he said was that Obama was the Antichrist, and that he dreamed it as well, and that he saw demons in the underworld that could open portals on the earth and stuff like that. And he dreamed that we need to get steel, actual steel weapons, swords, things like that, because we're going to fight an actual war on the earth against people that are trying to kill us. He said that he dreamed that in the end times, after something happens, some type of cataclysm, that actual witches will try to kill us and hunt us down and things like that, and we'll have to have groups that are standing watch at night and things like that, and we'll have to protect each other and all these things. That isn't the only person that dreamt the same exact thing. Dan Shelley 777, who has dreamed of tsunamis and all these things, dreamed the same thing, that we're going to have backpacks and we're running and stuff like that. And the first dream I had about Obama being the Antichrist, me and Jackie were running around in a maze, and we had homeless people clothes on, and we had backpacks, and we were running away from Obama the Antichrist. This is a symbol of Jesus's people being persecuted by the devil and his minions. And the dream I had the other night with the vampire that was telling the wolves to attack me and chase me, and they were nipping at my heels, is prophetic of I think it's Genesis 3:15, where Jesus will be crushing the head of the serpent, because Goliath's head was under the cross at Golgotha, because that's where David put it. And Adam's body was buried there also, because that's the first place that Adam stood up when he was created on the earth, and that's where his body was buried. I think Noah buried it there or something like that when he came off the ark. It's 15 feet long, and it separated the men from the women and the female from the male animals on the ark. Anyways, so there's so many different things that are that are about the Bible that are not in the Bible. It's basic instructions before leaving earth is basically what the Bible is. It's the crucified body of Christ. It is the basic information. They said to the disciples, these 2 swords will suffice. It doesn't mean that that's all that there is. If you want to become saved, you can absolutely become saved by just reading the book of Jonah, just reading any of the books of the Bible, one book. You can become saved, but it is not everything that you should know if you want to become wise. If you want I think the something of Kings to find out the scriptures, to study the scriptures. And if you want to know this stuff, read the first book of Adam and Eve, the Cave of Treasures, the Ascension of Isaiah. There's hundreds and hundreds of books they took out of the Bible, and some of them have been dug up recently in the Dead Sea Scrolls, which Enoch was part of the Dead Sea Scrolls, the fragments. Then in Qumran they dug up way more books than that, and people have labeled these books as Gnostic, and they're not. Jesus said, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, and knowledge is gnosis. So I'm not saying you can get to heaven by some enlightenment. I'm saying that Jesus is the enlightenment that you need, and Jesus is the Word. So read the Word. There's a third testament, and it's for the people in the end time, the elect, who will be living in the days when the wicked and the ungodly will be removed from the earth. Everybody's talking about a rapture, and they don't understand that we will be here still. As everybody is burnt up, we're going to walk upon their ashes. That's what's going to happen. They're maybe there's a protection for God's people, but it's not the rapture that people have been preaching and giving you false things to like make you think that you're going to escape all the things that are coming upon the earth. That's not how it's going to work out. We are going to be tried in a fire, and just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and Abraham were almost burnt up, but they were saved by Jesus, the Word. So anyways, after I found Jesus is Lord's channel and Dan Shelley 777 and all these different people that had seen the same things that I had seen, I was like, wow, this might actually be like legit. So fast forward to now, right? Not a lot of my dreams came true in the way that I thought they were going to come true. We haven't had tsunamis yet. We haven't had the kind of earthquakes I thought we were going to have. We haven't had all these different things that I thought were going to happen, right? So then recently, I was working for this painting company, and we were painting the Riverwalk Hotel off exit 32. You can look it up in Lincoln, New Hampshire. It's a very high-end hotel. I've stayed there when I won a sales competition when I was younger. They built a huge portion onto it, and in my destitution of my car breaking down, I had to get a ride to work because my dad screwed me over and he didn't pay me or help me do this job we were supposed to make a ton of money on. So I had to, my car broke basically, and I had to get a ride to work. And so I was getting picked up and working like a dog for $600 a week basically, just to pay my rent and barely survive through the last winter. And all this is while I was going through the worst time. My kids had left. I just moved to a place I didn't know anybody, all these things. I had a dream that this was going to happen, and I was going to be in a place I didn't know, in a house that wasn't finished, and I would call people on the phone and they weren't even there, kind of thing. Everyone I knew had basically abandoned me. That I had a dream that this was going to happen. So then I'm working at this Riverwalk Hotel, right? And I'm outside one day, and I had made friends kind of with the rug guys, and they were giving me the scraps so that my dog wouldn't wreck the floors at the house that I had just redone the floors for my landlord. And so I got these carpet scraps, and I'm rolling them out, super nice carpet, and I'm putting them down for my dogs, and I'm talking to the guys at work, when I see them, the rug guys. And then one day they were doing the hallway carpet, and it was the most beautiful carpet I've ever seen in my life, and it looked like waves going down the hallway. And it was one sec. It was like waves going down the hallway, all different blues and patterns that look like the ocean when it goes upon the sand. It was like that, right? And so, because it's the Riverwalk Hotel, so they're that's why they did it. And I used to sell carpet. I'm telling you, this is the nicest high quality carpet you could imagine. So I'm out one day, and I'm helping this guy that his whole bag full of Milwaukee expensive batteries for his drill he dumped his coffee, and it was all everywhere. And so he's cleaning his batteries. I didn't even know this guy. I'm helping him clean his batteries because I got out of the office first, out of the hotel first, and I'm waiting for my ride. So I'm helping him clean up with all these paper towels I had. And oddly enough, the rug guys were outside cutting this river carpet, this huge piece of carpet. They're cutting it, and so the coffee ran out of the bag, and it's about to spill onto that beautiful piece of carpet. And I saved it from doing that. I stopped it all from going onto the carpet. So when they had cut all the pieces for the hexagon to go in the lobby area, they had an extra piece they couldn't use. And even the guys here, this is for you. And I was like, what? And so I had no way to get it home except the truck that my boss was doing. So he helped me grab it. We threw it in the back of the truck, and the other guy was even are you sure you want to give him that? It's are you sure we can't use that? And it's a wicked nice piece of carpet. And he's like, no, he can have it. And he just gave it to me. And this guy wasn't super friendly. He just we talked and stuff. And so I was amazed he gave it to me, right? So the night before this happened, I had dreamed that my Toyota 98 Toyota 4Runner Limited, the most beautifulest Toyota 4Runner you've ever seen, that it was floating on a raft down a river, the Riverwalk Hotel, right? So it's floating down a river, and my car is on a raft, and it's floating down the river. And up until this time, it still worked, but it wasn't good enough to drive it all the way 30 minutes a day to this hotel in the middle of winter. It just wouldn't have made it. My engine would have fried. So I'm great. So I wake up from the dream, and I'm great, my car's gonna die. It's done, it's toast. I know it, because if I dreamed it, it's gonna happen, right? But I just kind of forgot about it until This day, we get home, we get out of the car, we take the carpet, bring it up to my porch, and my friend, I had been telling about my 4Runner because he's fixing an 04 Tacoma, which is similar. I'm telling him all about it, and like how I just gotta fix a few things because the engine like won't work or whatever properly. And so he's like, oh cool. So he's like, wow, this thing is amazing. And then we put the carpet on the porch, and he looks under it, and the frame had split and broke. Right as he drops the carpet off, it split, and he could see that it had split and broken. He's like, bro, look at your frame, dude. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I was like, that's what that noise is. When I was driving home the other day, the car was like swerving and stuff. I had no idea it happened. I didn't even see it. So my friend, his name was Mason, the owner's son, Mason, tells me that my 4Runner is toast as we're putting the piece of carpet down of the Riverwalk Hotel. And that is my dream that I dreamed the night before this happened, basically. So that right there made me realize that my dreams are going to come true. It's just that the timeline of when and how and the way that the nature of the things in the metaphoric language in my dreams are not the way that I think that they are in human form. There is a language to them that is like, you have to interpret them. So when I tell you that there are zombies that are going to be upon the earth soon, I'm telling you there's going to be zombies. When I tell you there's tsunamis coming, there's going to be tsunamis. When I say that the entire country of the United States is going to be destroyed and we are going to be invaded by a Russian army, that is going to happen. And I'm not trying to make anyone afraid. And on top of what I'm saying right now, my son Riley has recently seen some of my videos, and he has called me and he said, I want to learn more about the Bible. So my prayers for that to happen have been answered, because I pray it all the time. So I just wanted to let you guys know that these things are coming. For whatever reason, I have been prompted to tell you this. And I also wanted to thank the Lord Jesus Christ for allowing my son to want to know him more. And prayer does work. And it doesn't matter what the economy does, because it dipped a lot today. It changes all the time. I made it through the 2008 recession, and I'm still alive, and we had to eat off of like a Bunsen burner because we had no money for food or fuel or anything. So I'm telling you right now to prepare. If you don't have any physical weapons to protect yourself, and I don't mean guns, I'm saying physical, like some type of sword or something like that, like get one. I'm just telling you, get a bag together with fire starting materials, water filtration, things to start a fire that like you would have to start in like the old days. Like get stuff like that. If you can get some type of armor, like I'm telling you to get that stuff. And I'm not saying this lightly. I'm not whacked. I have 2 normal jobs. I work my butt off all the time. I fully understand that people that say this type of stuff might sound nuts to people that never dreamed it or thought of it before. But I am telling you that these things are coming. Do I want them to? No. Do I want to kind of go back into the matrix with my mind so I don't have to think about this stuff? Sometimes it's a lot of pressure. But I wouldn't trade it for the world, because the knowledge God has given me, I thank him for it. I thank him for the wisdom to know what's coming. He's told me a lot of things that, like, lately that I stress about and I worry about and I think about, that he tells me all the time, do not worry about these things. Do not worry about these things. It's not something you have to worry about. I still am not smoking cigarettes. I'm still not smoking weed. I don't drink. I'm very content with my life, even though I work constantly. I'm thankful for every day that I draw breath, and I really didn't want to live very much longer, like not too long ago. Like, so I just want you all to know that Jesus is real. Jesus is the Son of God, and he is God himself. And Jesus Christ paid the price for all of our sins, every human who ever lived, on the cross. And he went down to the underworld when he was in the tomb. After Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus took him off the cross and buried him properly, he went down to the underworld and he saved all the saints, from Adam to the thief on the cross, the 5,500-year prophecy. He fulfilled Revelation 1:18. He has the keys of hell and death. And if you do not want to live in hell for a very long time with a devil that does not love you, and all the pain you've ever felt in this life is his fault, if you want to live with the one who paid for you not to be in a place with that dude that hates you and smells bad and looks gross and will be with all the people that love him and hate you, if you don't want to be in that place, then choose Christ. And that goes for anybody, no matter what walk of life that you're from. Christ can change you. God bless you guys, and have a great day.